Now it's time to create the failover record set that's going to bring the East and the West failover record sets together. So yes, we have to create a couple more record sets. Click Create Record Set. And the name here is going to be www. This is going to be an alias. Now here, we're going to do something new. Under the alias target, let's scroll down here just so that you can get some good context. We're looking for east.benpiper.host. East is going to be the primary, okay? Now let's scroll down. Routing policy will be failover. This is the primary. Set ID www-primary. That all looks good. Now under this, we're going to do something new. Under evaluate target health, this time we are going to choose yes. Why? Because the target here, East, is itself a failover record set, which is being health checked. That is, it's associated with the health checks for Web 1 East and Web 2 East. If both of those health checks fail, then both of the East alias records themselves will become unhealthy. Here's another way to think about it. Click yes in the associate with health check, and then let me expand this out so we can see this better. Look at the drop down. If we were to associate this record with a health check, which one would we select? None of these actually make any sense here. We don't want this record to fail over if just one instance goes down. We want it to fail over if both Web 1 East and Web 2 East fail. In other words, we want Route 53 to treat those as a single unit, and that's what the East failover record set is for. So for associate with health check, we want to do no for that. Evaluate target health is yes. Once again, the target, east.benpiper.host, which is a failover record set. Okay, hope I made that clear. Let's click Create. Thank you for being patient with me. We got one more to go. Let's click Create Record Set. Now we're going to create the secondary record, www. This is going to be an alias. The target name here is going to be west.benpiper.host. The routing policy, of course, failover. That's what this module is about, failover records. The record type is secondary, www-secondary for the set ID. And evaluate target health is yes. Associate with health check, no. All right, we're almost there, I promise. Click Create. We'll expand this out here just so that we can look at everything or almost everything. I think we can squeeze everything here. www points to the East and West failover record sets. West points to, of course, the two West instances. And East, if I scoot up a little bit here, points to the two East instances. All right, clear as mud, right? All right, so after creating all those records, we want to wait 30 to 60 seconds just to give everything time to catch up with our super fast record creation. I think we've waited long enough. Let's jump back over to Chrome here, and we're going to go to www.benpiper.host. Not much has changed here because we hit Web 1 East as expected, all right? What if Web 1 East goes down? Well, let's go SSH back over there, shut down the web server again. Now here what I can do, since I'm actually inside the container now, I can just do Control-C to break out of it, and it stops the container. Of course, you know what I'm going to say next here, right? We have to wait for those two health check intervals to complete, which takes about 60 seconds. After waiting about a minute, very patiently I might add, let's jump back here to Chrome and refresh. Super, now we hit Web 2 East. Remember, it's the secondary record in the East record set, all right? But what if this one goes down? Well, let's go find out. Let's SSH into Web 2 East and crash the web server. I'll do a sudo docker ps to get the container ID, sudo docker stop, and I'll just enter the first portion of the ID, which is 67. And there it goes. It has stopped. And of course, we have to wait about a minute for Route 53's health check to catch up. And what we can do while we're waiting, if you would like, is go back over to health checks. And we can actually see the real-time or almost real-time status of each one of our health checks. Of course, Web 1 East is unhealthy, and Web 2 East is still showing healthy. Now, if I refresh it, yes, it's still showing healthy. Now, what we can do is actually click on the health check itself, go under Health Checkers, and we can see that each one of the health checkers in different regions shows a different status. EU Ireland, one of those shows success. The next one down shows failure, connection refused, as do most of them. So our health check is going to fail pretty soon here. We'll go and refresh again. And now it's showing unhealthy. Super. All right, so I'll wait a few more seconds here, and then I'm going to go over here and refresh the tab in Chrome. Okay, now we hit Web 1 West. Both of the East records are unhealthy, so the www record fails over to the West records. And Web 1 West is the primary record in the West record set. Okay, so this is all working as expected up till now. But what if this one goes down? Well, of course, you know what would happen. We would then fail over to Web 2 West. But let's skip ahead here. What if everything went down? What if all four of these instances are just down? What happens then? Well, let's go find out. Let's go over to Web 1 West and Web 2 West, and let's bring down the web server on both of these. Sudo docker ps here on Web 1 West, sudo docker stop, and then the first part of the container ID. Then I'm going to jump over to Web 2 West real quick, sudo docker ps, sudo docker stop, and then the container ID. Okay, so the web server is stopped on Web 2 West, it's stopped on Web 1 West, and of course on Web 1 and 2 East. We already know it stopped because we saw those health checks failing. All right, yes, once again, got to wait about a minute here, but once we do that, we're going to jump back into Chrome, try to reload, and see what happens. Now, since all of the web servers are down, it doesn't really make any sense to come back to Chrome because all we're going to get is an error page with no indication of which IP address Route 53 resolves to. If I do refresh, which I just did, the site can't be reached, of course, because there's no servers up. So let's go use NSLookup. Let's jump back to the command line. Here I am back in Visual Studio, and I'm going to do NSLookup www.BenPiper.host, and it resolves to this IP address. Well, what is that? Well, that's actually Web 2 West. web2-west.benpiper.host. Yes, indeed, it is Web 2 West. Okay, so I haven't actually waited a minute yet. Or maybe I have. I wasn't actually timing myself here. But regardless, the health checks have apparently not yet caught up. We'll wait a little while longer and then try it again. There we go. Now it resolves to the address for Web 1 East, even though Web 1 East is not healthy. So what happens here is that if all the resource records are unhealthy, Route 53 will serve the primary record. Well, which primary record? We have like 3 different primary records. Well, it falls back to the primary record set in the www set, which is the East record set, and the primary record set in the East record set is Web 1 East. Okay, I'm sorry, I know that's hard to follow, but after you play around with this for a little while, it does start to become second nature to you.